From Katu and Willamette University, this is Your Voice, Your Vote with Steve Dunn.
Hi, everybody. Great to have you with us on this Sunday, February 9th. With the new year comes new leadership, and today an opportunity to hear from elected leaders in two key offices. Portland Mayor Keith Wilson and Multnomah County District Attorney Nathan Vasquez on addressing city-county challenges, the changes they're making, and the improvements they say that are already taking place. K2 and this program's sponsor, Willamette University, invite you to watch these interviews, beginning with the new DA in his downtown office. Multnomah County District Attorney Nathan Vasquez, we appreciate your time. Thanks for being on the program.
Oh, well, thanks for the opportunity to chat.
Well, let's talk about it. As the new Multnomah County DA, what do you consider your mission?
Well, I think above all, it is to really stand out for victims and really stand up for them in the criminal justice system, and it's to really help deliver public safety to this community.
Shortly after winning the election, you said your #1 focus as DA will be ending open-air drug use. How are you addressing that issue right now, and how's that going?
You know, we're seeing some improvements. It's still definitely, a struggle, and it continues to be a major focus. It's about creating very strong partnerships with local law enforcement and making sure that my DAs are very actively involved in this day-to-day, and it's a focus that we're going to look at in every part of this county.
Multnomah County has the new deflection program as well. Is that on the right track now, do you feel?
I think there's some opportunity to see that grow and improve. We've seen some recent changes, which I'm excited about. They're adding in withdrawal management and kind of sobering within that, and that's a positive development. But I want to make sure that people are meaningfully engaging in treatment and that there is an accountability component to this, because that's been one of the things that I've said from the very beginning. For this to work, we have to have people being actually connected to treatment.
Do you feel confident going forward that this is going to be something? You're going to see that?
Well, I feel confident that we're going to continue to talk about this and that it will evolve, and my goal is to see it evolve into that direction. I think it needs some work, and I think everyone that's involved in the program is dedicated to working towards that goal.
Let's talk about adding more jail beds in Multnomah County. You'd like to do that, right?
Yes, and I want to be clear. I want to do that with some real intentionality. It's not just, hey, I want to open up a lot more jail beds. I want to do it in a way that makes sense for this community. And to do that, we need to have jail beds in which we're getting people really stabilized and ready to get into treatment, and to do it in a way that really, I think, reflects what the desires of this community are. I'm sure that's going to be somewhat costly. Do you see Multnomah County being able to fund that? Well, I think it comes down to priorities. And I've said from the very beginning, I heard loud and clear from this community that public safety needs to be a priority. And we show our priorities through our budget. And yes, it will be costly, but it is something that this community needs, and we need to move forward in that direction.
Do you think public safety is enough of a priority right now in this community?
I am very encouraged by the fact of how much folks are talking about it, they're involved in it. The budget's coming up, though, and that's going to be a key question both for Multnomah County Commissioners, for the chair, and then also with our city budget for the mayor and for our new city councilors as well. So both of those two budgets are going to be a major reflection of that.
Oregon legislature is meeting right now. What are you asking lawmakers for?
Well, I'm looking at certain areas to impact things like gun violence. That's been another major focus of mine. We're pushing on some bills in that area. Traffic safety is another one. We've seen far too many traffic deaths. As a whole, my office is very engaged in Salem, working closely with our legislative partners to really see how we can improve public safety. You mentioned gun violence. We're 5 weeks into the new year now. How would you describe gun violence in Multnomah County? Yeah, I've been pretty clear about this. We've seen some recent gains and we've seen some positive trends. However, I'm someone that I'm not going to be satisfied with just seeing some small gains. This is a situation where in recent years we've seen far too many deaths and far too many homicides and far too much gun violence. Has it improved? It has, and I'm very encouraged by that, but it's not going to slow me down in my efforts to really combat gun violence and work hard for this community. Voters indicated in a big way they wanted changes in the DA's office. Yeah. What changes
are you making?
Yeah, really, I started even before day one. I went out and I met with every single law enforcement officer in the county. I went to every roll call, whether it was, 10 at night or 6 a.m. in the morning. And, I tried to hit every agency to tell them that, we were going to go in a new direction, and that was going to be based around partnership and working together. From there, I came in on day one and made some changes in my office, working on just how do we be more efficient? How do we be more effective in what we're doing? And we're continuing that work here. We've made it through month one, and we're getting into month two, and we're not slowing down.
Protests have always been a big issue in the city of Portland. We see it actually becoming a bigger issue in the last 3 or 4 years. We are seeing groups that are hijacking some of those protests as well. How are you dealing with those people?
Well, I want to be very clear with this. I have no tolerance for that. I firmly believe that in this community, we do have an amazing culture around, protesting and people advocating for what they believe. But there's a huge difference about when people start using violence and vandalism, and I do see some groups really trying to hijack the really important message of others, and I won't stand for that. I've been very clear. It doesn't matter if people are left, right, or center. If they're breaking the law, I'm going to try to hold them accountable and do everything I can in that area. Are
you getting any pushback from folks, legislative leaders or anybody in the state saying we don't like the direction you're going, or what kind of response are you getting?
Oh, it's the opposite. People actually are very excited about this. I have gotten nothing but positive responses from this, and it's because it's what this community wants to see. They want to see we have such a vibrant, beautiful community, and they want their top law enforcement officials to stand up for this community and fight for it, and that's what I'm doing.
Accountability is big. You talked a lot about that in your campaign. Talk about how you're doing that and showing the accountability in this county.
Well, it's in a couple of different ways. It's everything from, making sure that we're working hard on organized retail theft, working on the stolen motor vehicles. My office spearheaded a major case just the other day in which we drafted a search warrant and on a chop shop, and it was led by the investigators in my office and the DA that was working that case, and it was a huge case. But we've seen that really, even in this first month, just a ton of this. We also spearheaded an effort to work with small businesses that were being hit by a burglary ring, and they were really being devastated by this. And we helped uncover over 100 businesses that were being, just devastated by this activity. And we've already started making arrests and indictments, and I'm very proud of the work my attorneys have done in this area. And it is a testament to what the mission that I'm trying to push forward, which is if people are out there criminalizing and victimizing our businesses, our individuals, our families, we're going to come after them.
Your predecessor took a lot of criticism for not being tough enough on crime. Folks didn't feel he was. Do you feel you are tougher on crime?
Well, yes, but I'm trying to do it in a very intentional and smart way. For the very violent individuals, yeah, I'm going to do everything I can to protect this community, to protect victims, and to hold those individuals accountable and make sure that they go to prison. For the ones that are struggling with substance abuse disorder, I'm going to make sure they're held accountable for the crimes they commit, but we're also going to, make sure that we're doing the right activities and efforts to connect them with treatment so that we can see long-term change in them. My goal is not to necessarily see those individuals go into our prison system. It's to see how we can give them life skills and get them out of the criminal justice system, because overall my goal is how do we improve the health of this community.
Your hope for Portland as Multnomah County DA 1 year from now?
Well, I think it starts with kind of some of the major areas I've talked about, which is that people can walk down the street and not feel like they need to step over people that are passed out on fentanyl, that those individuals are getting connected with treatment, and that we're getting back to a healthy place in this community. That's hope number one. I want to see that change. I certainly want to support the mayor and his efforts in seeing individuals that are homeless or houseless, getting them into shelter. I want to see that for our community. And of course, as I've always said, I want to see gun violence go down. For years and years, we've had somewhere around 20 to 30 homicides a year. Last year we had somewhere between about 65 to 70. That's far too many. Our community, I would love it if we had no homicides, and maybe that's unrealistic, but I want it to be as low as it possibly can, and I want to see huge improvements in that area.